Hi, my name is Jasmine Hanna. I'm a fourth year. Well, I just recently graduated from UCLA. I'm from Playa del Rey, California, and I'm a sociology major, and I minored in African and Middle Eastern studies. I thought the sociology major was really unique in that I got to work with a lot of, I think the sociology department at UCLA is one of the best in the country. So I got to work with a lot of accomplished and published professors. I was able to think differently and critically with learning sociology, and through the sociology major, it really opened up my mind to think in a way that I wouldn't have thought about issues before, or thought about just general social life and, things that, actions that humans do every day and how we live our life. It taught me to just look at things just from an intersectional perspective, see people for their own unique, individual traits, characteristics, and the lives that they live, and how that how our identities impact the way that we interact with each other. So yeah, for me, it just opened up my mind to just things that, what we may see as mundane, but to look at the little social processes and actions that happen within our own interactions in a way that I never would have looked at it before, besides surface value. The most challenging part of the sociology major, I would say, is a lot of reading. There's definitely, it's a lot of reading for each class, but obviously I had to learn how to read in a way that was most effective for me, because I personally couldn't get through, when you have so many just scientific articles that you have to read, 25-page, 4 or 5 of those types of articles you got to read from academic journals. You feel like you can get bogged down with that, but it's just managing your time with that and reading in a way that's most effective in order to get the key points from the readings, and to think about the points that stand out to you, that you think is important and matches with what you're learning in class. So that was definitely, I would say, the most challenging aspect about the major is the course work in terms of the reading. Well, my professors, I guess, using office hours, that really helped me in terms of using my professors as a resource if I needed to clarify a theory or a topic that we were going over in discussion, or something from the reading that I just maybe didn't really understand, so I had to process it. So I used my professors as a tool to work through those theories to understand it. I also, I would say, used Google, great resource in terms of if I needed more of a breakdown on the theory as well, I would just type it in and, just do extra reading on it in addition to the reading that, as I was saying, I would just use Google as an extra resource to just look up a theory or a person or just whatever I'm learning in class to get more clarification on it. And most of the time there'd be other resources outside of the academic journals or what we learn in class that explain, what we're learning. So yeah, that really helped me for sure. The job search right now is, well, I already spoke to, for me, I'm pre-law. I'm 95% sure I want to go to law school. So in order to solidify my decision, I plan on taking, well, I'm already taking a gap year. I may take 1 to 2 gap years. And I had already talked to a few attorneys about interning with them or working at their firm, or just, just letting me shadow them as well, which will be paid. And so that in terms of that, I just really used my connections for that, in terms of just, I guess just going online and finding different, law firms, or using my own resources through people that I know, my social networks, to get in touch with attorneys that are working for the field that I may want to work for. And like I was talking to like different attorneys, like criminal defense attorneys and like corporate attorneys, different, like just attorneys from different fields. So to kind of see what I would like, what I'm interested in working in during that time in my gap year. So so the job search for that has been good. I will say that yeah, like I plan on like starting to work in the fall. So right now it's just about, I feel like more narrowing down which attorney I would like to work with and also like how that would work with my schedule in terms of like beginning the study for the LSAT as well, because I need to start like planning the study for that and apply to law school during that time and kind of work out with my schedule, like, you know, which would fit my study schedule the best. So that's been good. I will say that in the past, when I was looking at things, Handshake through, I believe, the Career Center has really helped. And, you know, like just even searching up in Google, like sociology major jobs, different things pop up for like what you can use to like apply your major to a job search. But the beautiful thing about sociology is that like you can really go into anything, and it's very flexible, and which I really like. It gives you like, I feel like a lot of opportunities like to like apply to different jobs, like very different jobs. So yeah, like that's helped me in my job search as well. If I was thinking like, let's say I don't want to work with a law firm, but I want to work for something else, like there's so many different things I know I could do with my degree. Well, some advice I would say is just be prepared for the readings, and like I would say do your readings before coming to class. Try to do it as much as you can before class. Obviously, sometimes that doesn't work out, and that's not sometimes, and most of the time that isn't a big deal. And but just kind of like know, like, you know, like kind of just know the topic for your next class so you can be prepared with like questions and to like participate in discussion. I would also say, you know, like introduce yourself to professors on the first or second day of class when you're first starting the quarter. It's really important because they'll definitely like remember your name. I will say like sociology professors are like, in my experience, have been like really awesome and sweet and like really open. You know, I never felt like scared to approach them. So they're very approachable. So and they care, they really care about you and care about like what they teach and what you learn. So definitely like introduce yourself to them and utilize office hours if you need help in any way. And it's just a good way to also like, you know, if you need like a letter of rec for a, like, you know, for a grad school, like obviously like you're gonna have to get, you know, some professors letter of rec. So it's good to form that relationship with them early on. This is just my personal choice. If you can, like definitely sit in the front of class because the class sizes are big. And for me personally, I like to feel like more of like, I don't know, like a smaller class size feel, or just have that more one-on-one, like I just connection with the professor up front, or just like I pay attention better when I sit up front. So I would say if you're comfortable in doing that, I would highly recommend that. And I don't know, it just helps me pay attention more. And yeah, like if you can, like try to push yourself to participate in class discussions. Like sometimes we'll have in a 300-person lecture room, we'll have like a big class discussion where the professor will pass around the mic. And I would highly encourage you to kind of push yourself to try to like maybe participate sometimes in discussion, because I think that's like very important in terms of like your growth and development. And like if you have an opinion to share, I would say like don't be afraid to share it. Even though it can be intimidating because you're in such a large class size, I think the professors do a good job in facilitating like a good discussion where they really just want to hear from you. I feel like with sociology, like there's not just one right answer, you know? So, which is like the beautiful thing about it, because you just hear from so many people's different perspectives. yeah, and don't be afraid to also take classes. Like what also for sociology, just like there's a lot of different classes that are so interesting and so broad. So like definitely like don't be afraid to also take classes that you feel like would challenge you in terms of a topic. Maybe on a topic that you didn't think like, you know, there was more to in the past. Like there's a sociology of everything class, basically sociology of education, gender, race and ethnicity. Like there's so many different class options. So I would say don't be afraid to take a class that you feel like will like, I don't know, like challenge you in like a very different way than what your like own already like predetermined mindset is, you know, and go into each class with an open mind and hear from like, you know, your fellow students. Like they have very different opinions. So yeah. And thank you so much. Go Bruins. Love you, UCLA. Best school ever.